Hi, I'm Brian. Welcome to this edition of That Wilderness Survival Show. Over the series, I would like to share with you some survival skills that hopefully make your outdoor experience more enjoyable. Welcome to this edition of That Wilderness Survival Show. Today I'm going to do some cooking for you. What we're going to do is, since we've already done fires in our last shows, and I showed you how to make a bow drill, showed you how to set up a fire, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly run through it and not explain a lot, because you already know how to do this. So I've already set things up. I've got all my wood set up. I've got my system set up here for cooking. We're going to cook a chicken. I'm going to cook a steak. We're going to do some ash cakes. Do a little roasted on the fire, and if time permits, we might even roast a marshmallow for you. So I hope you enjoy this edition, and yeah, let's have some fun. Okay, so since it's the middle of January on the Sunshine Coast, our humidity factor is really high. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little something that I call a coal extender. There's a couple of different types of coal extender. The mushrooms that grow on the side of the trees, the dead trees in the bush, they'll fall off and die, and when they get really, really, really dry, you can break them up and they work good as a coal extender. Or inside an old punky stump, sometimes when it's really, really dry, you can get the stuff that's just ready to powder out and go back into the earth. That works well as a coal extender as well. And what a coal extender does is, when you're working with your bow drill or your means of lighting your fire, the little coal will go from here onto there, and it'll be really small. And then you put your coal extender right beside it, and then you blow your coal onto it. And that's exactly what it does, is it gives you more time to blow your stuff to a flame. Because with the humidity gathering the grasses and stuff around, things aren't as dry as I would like them to be. So we're going to give it a go down here at Bonnie Brook Beach and see how far we get. So you just set it in the front just like this, and then put your bow drill together. See how far you're going to get. Okay. So when things are a little bit damp, what happens is things come apart fairly quickly. And the spindle is eating out the board too fast. So I'm going to have to adjust my spindle a little bit to try to get more friction on the sides. And yeah, if you can get a fire going on the coast, wait till you go to the interior and see how easy it is there. All right, so what you got to do is make sure that you got your coal started. See the little bit of smoke starting up? That is not when you stop. You got to stop after the smoke changes a little bit. And experience is the only way you're going to know. Okay, so you get your coal right on top of your coal extender. turn it around, see if you can see it. See how your coal extender lights? Okay, so you see how the fire gets started. That's why you need lots of tinder. And you need your tinder cut really thin so that it gets going. Hard. Usually I'm in front of this so I get going better, but I need you guys to be able to see how I'm doing this. So I know it kind of looks a little bit goofy and off to the side here, but this is what got going. So if your fire starts right here, then that's where it starts. So you're going to have to move your fire over a little bit. Remember, you've got all your stuff set off to the side like this, and you can get going. You can get your fire going, and you can get it building up, and you're not running around the beach or wherever you happen to be building your fire, chasing down wood after you get something going here. So this is how we're going to do it, and we're just going to build it up nice and easy, nice and slow. And this is really important that your wood that you're starting with is dry. After you get a nice fire rolling, always remember 2 pieces of dry wood will burn 1 wet one. So what you need is all your dry wood ready to go. And like I said before, this is all practice, right? So practice, practice, practice. And it's really easy and fun, and you can do it down at the beach. After you've got your fire going and you're all having fun and that, build yourself your bow drill kit and have some fun. Build little fires off to the side and just enjoy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this fire going good, get it rolling up really nice and high, and then I'll show you how to prepare your chicken, and we'll get this fire rolling really well, and we'll get the ashes going and different spots that we're going to cook on. Okay?
Natural hazards are hitting Canadians harder and more often than ever before. Yet it takes surprisingly little to survive their wrath. A candle and water could help save your life in the short term. And paper will see you through the long term. Learn how to protect your life and home. Visit these websites. A message from the Institute for Catastrophic Loss Reduction and the Canadian Red Cross.
It afflicts more men than any other type of cancer. 1 in 6 Canadian men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, and more than 4,000 of them will die.
It could be your friend,
your partner, father,
your son,
brother,
or it could be someone like me. a prostate cancer survivor.
A cure can be found, but we need your support. Let's unite in the fight against prostate cancer.
When you're in the race of a lifetime, split-second decisions often determine the final outcome. Being a mother is kind of the same. Timing is everything. So how much do you know about meningitis, a bacterial infection that can turn potentially fatal in a matter of hours? It's important that you do two simple things right now. Visit the MRFC website to learn the facts about how you can protect your child. Then talk to your doctor about which options are right for your family. That way we can all win in the race against time.
What the? Can I help you?
I'm depression. I've come for you.
Pardon me?
Depression, you know? I get people angry, keep them up at night, give them anxiety, muddle with their heads.
That's
Crazy, yeah. Actually, the government likes to refer to me as a mental illness.
Well, shouldn't you be wearing a cape or a...
So people can see me coming? This is perfect. I got 20% of all Canadians already. I can get anybody.
Okay, so you get a bit of a teepee built, and it's built up into a cone. It sucks the air into the bottom of the fire, and it creates lots of heat so that you can get the coals you need for your cooking fire. So you can see how the fire is burning down nicely, and all the coals are building up in the middle. That's hence the teepee shape. So we've got our sticks. Make sure it is a non-poisonous plant you're using. On the coast, I like maple. Maple works really well. So you got to get your length. You want it to stick out a little bit further. And when I get the chicken on this spit here, you'll see why I've got all these Ys, right like this. So that's what you want to do, is you want to get your length. You're going to skin this off, take all the bark off of it, or you'll end up with the taste in your meat. So yeah, I'm just going to skin this all off and let this fire burn down a little bit, and we'll continue on. Okay, so now that we've got the fire burnt down, we've got a nice layer of coals here. You like the 2-second rule. So if you can hold your hand for 2 seconds and it starts to get too hot, that's about the distance you're going to want your food to be if you're roasting it like spit roasting. You've got the white coals on the far side of the fire over here, and what they're going to be good for is all your roasting on a stick. I'll be laying the fish on the high side here, so you'll be able to see it in the camera, and all the heat will roll up and cook the fish properly. So yeah, I'm going to get everything ready and going here, and I'll show you why I have 2 sticks for the spit roasting. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I've got the chicken, and I'm just going to tie it up and dress it so that it doesn't flop all over the place while we are cooking. So it's fairly easy to do. You're just going to tie the legs together like so. Just a couple of little knots here. You know, this might not be the professional way to do it, but I just like to hold it together. And then I'll tie one across the front just to keep the wings on, because you don't really want anything flopping off and in the fire. So you just tie the legs to the back of the breast, and then I'll just tie the wings up so that the wings don't flop around on the fire, and then I'll show you how to put the sticks on. So as you can tell, we're down at Bonnybrook Beach, and we've got people cutting firewood and everything else. So if you happen to hear a chainsaw in the background, people clearing property or cutting firewood or just living their life, because we're in the middle of the week. So just goes through the chicken like so. All right, and then the other one, you're going to want it to go off on a bit of an angle. And you see how they've got a little bit of separation right here, and they're fairly close together right here. That way we can rotate the bird on different angles and get it on the fire in different spots. So, now it's important to watch your fire closely here. because you don't want it to get it too hot here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fire apart a little bit and get most of the fire burning over there, and then I can chase coals to this side as we want them. So I better get that going right now or I'm going to lose all my strings. Okay, you see how you just pull the fire away a little bit? And you can rotate. Tongs. And you can get your coals so exactly the way you need them. You've got your fire burning over here, and as you start to get coals, you can just take your tongs and keep your coals underneath your chicken. All right, so then you've got it. Yeah, we got some nice heat going there. And you don't want your wood to be burning too much or your strings will get burned off and then you will, it'll start to flop. But you can see how the separation of the wood, and then when the chicken starts to harden up a little bit, it gets firm, then it's easy to rotate, and you just use your different Ys in your sticks to get different spots close to the fire. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the coals over there, and we keep the fire burning over here. I'll make a spot for the fish right up here, and we'll get the fish laying in right here. All right, I'm just going to get out of the scene here for a second and go get the fish. You just watch the fire burn. Okay, so when you've got the fish, what you're going to want is the heavy part of the fish toward the warmest part of the fire. So let's see. If we'll just lay them on the rocks, just like this. We got lots of nice heat right in here, and as he gets burning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of wood, and I'll just set him on a piece of wood, and then the edge of the wood will burn up, and you've got to really watch it then and stop your wood from burning underneath the fish. And then what I'll do is then I'll cut some sticks, and I'll show you how to slow roast little bits of meat. I've got a bit of vegetables, a few peppers, and we'll just start roasting everything else. So now this is the important part. You can't just leave things off to the side. So we got to cool this down a little bit. You can see the chicken starting to get a little bit, it's starting to feel the heat. And yeah, so you got to just, everything now is around the fire. You're going to get hot. If it's cold out, that's a good thing. So anyway, we will prepare other stuff and see you in a second.
If I make a mistake, will you give me away?
Will you leave me behind when you move? I'm cute now, but someday I'll grow up and you'll get tired of me. We know we're a lot to handle. Which one of us will you get rid of?
Do I really have to beg for your love?
Please don't make me sleep outside. Would you hit me if I scratched the couch?
My parents are allergic to me. Can I come and live with you?
If I wet my bed, will you rub my nose in it? If you won't play with me, who will? I cry when I'm left alone. Will you have me put down?
So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate the chicken. We got it. It's important to figure out how things are cooking for you. Now you see how that just rotated the chicken a little bit and brought the breast more toward the fire. It's the thickest part of your bird, right? So that's what you want to cook. We've put the fish on a board here, and he's pretty good. And then it's just feeding the coals and keeping the coals in the area that you want. When you're cooking on a fire, it's important that your wood is fairly small so that it coals up really fast. So that you see how the coals are coming off this fire here, and I'm just picking out of this fire over here and bringing them over here as need be. So we've got the heat. We've checked our heat in front of our fish. As you can see, I've adjusted the fish a little bit, and the chicken's starting to look good. It's all browning up nice and neat. And then our pieces of wood aren't really big and huge. We've still got our fire on the far side over there that's producing all the coals that we need for cooking. Coals are very important. Don't cook with flames. You'll burn all your stuff. What I'm doing is I'm going to make a nice area right in here, and I'm going to actually throw my steak right on the ashes. And I'll show you how it turns out. It turns out just beautiful. When you're in a wilderness survival situation and you don't have any pots and pans, this is how you're going to cook it. Obviously, we're cooking a chicken. Maybe it's going to be a grouse or some other sort of bird that you've caught. Or you can do a rabbit like this. You can do pretty much anything that is like bigger than a fish. You can even cook it on the side like that if you want to. It doesn't turn out quite as good, but you can see how we've rotated the chicken. You can see it's golden on this side here, and it's cooking really nicely. Once I get my chicken about cooked, my fish is actually doing really well. Once we get the chicken cooked a little bit more, I'll throw a steak on there, and I'll show you how to cook with the little bits of meat and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's really important that your wood isn't really big, because it takes a long time to coal. Smaller pieces of wood, you can just dig the coals out as you're cooking. Okay, you can see the chicken's just sizzling away here. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to make ash cakes. I've got a nice little spot set off to the side right here, and I'm going to cook a steak right on there, and I'm going to cook my ash cakes right up here. So I'm just going to go up top here. Things are cooking really nicely. I've got some nice heat here. I got some nice heat going on right there. All my coals are off to the one side. Oh, right in the smoke. So what ash cakes are, it's just, you can pretty much use anything you want. I like the flour and cornmeal. Just a little bit of flour, a little bit of cornmeal, a little bit of water. You can mix it up any way you want to. It's a little on the messy side. Sometimes I make them inside the plastic bag, and then it's not quite so messy. So you can actually make these at home before you come out. You can start to see it start to get thick and it sticks to your hands. It's hard to get the water to actually go into the meal. And then you just make it's just like a little dough ball, and then you flatten it out. You can mix anything you want in it too. You can put raisins in it. You can put all kinds of stuff in it. So while you're making it, you're thinking about how things are going to go and what size you want them to be. You're always watching your fire. You're always making sure that things aren't flaring up underneath your chicken and scorching it too badly. It's cooking really nice. The fish, the skin's all coming apart. You can tell fish is getting cooked nicely by the skin. What it'll do is it'll split and start to open up. Okay, so if you've got some of your favorite stuff, whatever you like to put in muffins. I know people that use like a muffin mix for this. If you're not able to eat corn, you can just use straight flour. The corn kind of holds it together a little bit. You can use cattails, the pollen on the top of a cattail. You shake it into a bag in the springtime, and then you can it makes a really, really nice flour. But most of the time you kind of have to add it to a little bit of flour because it doesn't stick together very well. But it will work and get you through in a pinch. Remember, this is a wilderness survival situation, right? So, just a little ash cake here. Just like that. You don't want them big and thick and clunky because they don't cook very well in the middle. All right, the ash cake just goes right on the ashes like that, and it will cook. And your steak is going to go right on the ashes. I've built a little fire off to the side here and got some really nice ashes going, and you can just lay that right on the fire, just like that. It's not going to hurt you. Ash is actually good for you. Remember, you're in a situation where you don't have any pots and pans or nothing to cook, and I'm showing you how to cook a fish, which is looking really good. Your chicken, bubbling away there, cooking really nicely. And your little ash cake, you can cook a steak, all kinds of stuff right on the fire. As long as you keep things fed, keep coals going to where you want them, keep the heat going on your chicken. You can see all the juices are starting to flow on your chicken. You just keep rotating your chicken around. Hence the reason you've got these different angles. So you get your chicken, it's up a little bit high now. Just throw a little bit more coal underneath it. You get a little bit more heat. The heat comes up nice and even. My steak is just about ready to turn over. My chicken's looking really good. I got a little piece of meat here that I'm going to start to cook. And yeah, so what I'll do is I'll show you. You can take it and you can split off thin pieces. You can see I've obviously got milled lumber here. It was just kicking around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to flip over a fish if you're cooking it on a board. Just put another piece of wood right on top of it, and you can split it off of your log, off of your stump, or whatever you're using. Just flip it over, take the top one off, and there you go. You've got the bottom one ready to go, and now that becomes your cooking plank. You'll cook everything nice and even. This fish is looking really, really good. The chicken's looking really good. I'm going to flip that steak over, and I'll show you what the back side looks like. All right. See, you just knocked the little bits of wood off of it. It's cooking really nicely over there. This takes a little bit of time, but if you take your time while you're doing it, it's fun to learn. Take your time while you're doing it. Stay nice and warm. And at the end of it, have a nice meal. The wilderness is here for everybody to enjoy. Please pack out everything you bring with you and leave no trace. Okay, at the end of the day, after you've cooked your meal, it's all nice and cooked and ready to go, and you're just sitting around the fire, you want to cook yourself a s'more. S'mores are just marshmallows roasted really nicely on the fire, and I like cheating s'mores. Chocolate-coated cookies. On one side, take your stick out, put your chocolate-coated cookie on the other side. Instant s'mores. Then you don't have to deal with a chocolate bar and all the other stuff. And there's your dessert. Enjoy.
You're watching Coast TV.